Good afternoon, everybody. Today is going to be what are the benefits of Rockintheboatreactions when it comes to REN's chapters videos. And I would like to explain the value that I can bring to these videos and also the understanding about the concerns that I have from most of the Renegades regarding even having reaction videos to his chapters. I did a poll, and the Facebook poll was quite impressive. It was in one of REN's fan pages, and there were 264 yes votes within us. I only had the poll up for 24 hours where it said yes, 100% yes. And that was actually 94% of the vote, yes, do it. When it comes to the chapters videos, it's a little bit weird of a topic to even do reaction videos to. However, I have to bring some value to a video that I'm going to react to. In this case, REN's story is fairly similar to mine when it comes strictly to the health history, the mental health history, the physical health history, as well as the difficulties with the medical community taking you seriously as a patient and having treatment issues. And then also from the perspective of needing to turn your deficit that you have because of your health condition, now you have this professional deficit, and how do you overcome that deficit and make it into something positive anyway? And so I relate to that to a high degree. And I need your guys' comments. I need you to be honest and open with me in the comments so that I can then analyze whether this is something that I should partake or not, because I take REN's material very seriously. So one of the first things right off the bat is that I was diagnosed with lupus about 22 years ago, and about 9.5 years ago I had to stop practicing medicine. I am an internal medicine doctor. I had to leave my medical practice because of lupus. I had been on a infusion medicine for lupus for a few months, and then my insurance company stopped. They didn't want to keep paying for it, so I had to stop taking it. And that was in maybe January to March of my final year of working. And then by December of that year, I was only able to get out of bed and show up to work one day a week. That's all I could muster. The rest of the days of the week, I was having to recover from the one day going into work. When I first finished residency, I was working both office-based internal medicine practice, taking care of patients, and then taking care of my patients in the hospital, plus doing hospitalist weekend shifts. And I would do that for 3-4 weekends in a row. So I would work 30 to 40 days in a row with no break. And I loved it. I was doing fine. But then my health kind of started catching up with me. And to then go from that to then only being able to show up in the office one day a week, I mean, it was a pretty significant decline that I took after the insurance company screwed me over. So I have a very unique connection with the insurance and medical community because of that. I mean, not only that, I mean, I am a part of the medical community, but I also dealt with insurance companies as a doctor, fighting with them to try to get things that I needed done, whether it was a medication approved or a test approved or whatever, for a patient of mine that I felt like I needed to have done in order to correctly diagnose and then treat my patient. And the insurance company stepping in and trying to tell me what to do as the practicing physician, I was never okay with that, and I'm certainly not okay with it now. But like I said, it's been over 9 years now since I've been able to practice medicine. I did not continue carrying my medical license. I did not want to keep up with the high cost of maintaining your license. You have to renew it yearly. Even to register for a medical conference is a ridiculous amount of money, and then you have to travel to all these different places that doctors travel to for the medical conferences. It was just going to be too much. Going from being a practicing doctor to all of a sudden I'm on long-term disability, I can't afford that. You know, I had only been out of residency for a little over 5 years when I had to stop practicing medicine, and so I still had all my medical school loans. Anyway, that's a whole different subject. But the greed, the control and all of that. Like, I get that perspective. I really get that perspective. And so then you go from the patient side, the professional medical side, to then, well, how do I take that and my life experience, and how do I approach the chapters videos? And that's something that I have to really consider, because I don't want to let down the Renegades. I don't want to, but first and foremost, I don't want to let down Ren. He's a private guy, even though he's in the public eye, but he is getting more and more popular, and he's going to eventually become more and more mainstream, and more people are going to get familiar with him. And that's why I feel very compelled to do these videos, so that there's some kind of a perspective, someone who understands the need for privacy, yet the desire to be helpful. And I understand that as well, because it's not like me to want to put myself out there. I am normally a fiercely private person, and it's been a transition for me to go from being that fiercely private person to then even be in front of a camera to do reaction videos, to then doing REN's material. And the only reason we went from our fishing, our channel used to be a kayak fishing channel, and Chris just made videos while he was in his fishing kayak, and we transitioned to doing reaction videos, and that was a very natural transition for us because of REN's music. And that's what we decided we wanted to do, was we wanted to delve into REN's material because it touches us personally and professionally. When you have someone like myself who's had an issue with health declining, mental health stuff, some psychiatric things that have popped up, when you have that come along from someone who is a type A personality, a perfectionist, just always striving to do everything, be everything and to everybody, and then to have to depend on someone. Chris is my caregiver now, and so he comes into this with the perspective from ultimately being a caregiver, and he has to be very protective of me. He and I full-time RV, and we do that so that we can be in parts of the United States that is best climate for lupus and how it's treating me. And when we are visiting family in Southwest Missouri, that's about the worst place that we can be, but we need to see family. So we try to stay as limited of a time as we can. That doesn't always work out. But then we go to either the mountains in New Mexico for the summer, the desert in Arizona for the winter, and my parents also full-time RV. They were very happy to sell their retirement home, buy an RV so that they could be with us, so that they are with me and Chris basically all the time. They don't come to Missouri though. They refuse. They don't like tornadoes. They lived here all their life practically, and they retired and left Missouri for a reason. So when we're in Missouri, normally they're not with us. So I don't have them as a little protective cocoon, and it becomes a little bit of a struggle because of not having that extra support system, but that's okay. When it comes to the need for the people who are your support system to not receive any kind of judgment or criticism, or have you tried this, or have you done that, or why did you do this, or why did you do that, I understand where that protection of your support system comes from. I don't remember what interview it was, no, you know what it was? I think I watched the first few minutes of REN's chapter 1, where he said something about you might have the desire to reach out and please don't. That's not what, they didn't sign up for this. And don't judge, or don't praise them, don't judge them, that kind of thing. And I, I'm like, yeah, I get that. So for those who are concerned that the chapters videos might not be handled with care or maybe with the right approach, I just want to reassure you in the information that I've just provided to you that that's how I will be approaching it, from the understanding from the physical and mental health part of it, also the flip side, being able to come at it from an understanding from a medical doctor, but then also the understanding from the frustration that comes with being a patient in the medical community, and in the United States anyway, dealing with insurance companies. I know in the UK is a little different, but I mean, you still have approval hurdles that you have to jump through in order to get somewhere in healthcare. And being your own advocate is the best thing that you can be. And so I come at these videos with all of those things in mind. My goal with these videos ultimately is to get a little bit more understanding for myself about REN, as well as I have a feeling it will deepen the connection that I have to him and his material, but then also it might help me understand his material a little bit more, because there's some things that he says in his lyrics that I'm like, I have a feeling I'm missing some of the meaning here. And I have a feeling that the chapters, because several people have said I need to watch the chapters 1 through 8, so I have a feeling if I do that, then I will gain some understanding. And if you're hearing motor noises, it's semis driving by. We're parked in a parking lot in our RV. I always film from the RV. So if you're hearing some random motors going by, that's a semi truck. And I'm leaving that in there because, it is what it is. We just do whatever. And so whenever you have the ultimate goal of making a stronger connection and going through the chapters videos, in my mind I'm thinking, are those something that if I watch those, would my reaction and my own story and my own spin on it, could that maybe help someone else? Because ultimately that's why we are doing this channel. This channel is ultimately, the goal is to make everybody's lives a little brighter. That's why our sign off is always, everybody have a great day, smile, and make somebody else's day brighter because they had an interaction with you. That's our sign off on like every video. And the goal as well is to come up with a live stream where other people like myself and Chris, who are chronic illness, mental health patients, strugglers, whatever, and their caregivers can come together and support each other, maybe troubleshoot some issues, who knows, maybe innovate, who knows, what can come of it. But I have to pace myself because my brain is currently affected. Evidently, I have some inflammation in my brain that may be because of lupus. I was in the hospital for about 4 or 5 days, the end of March, and I don't have much recollection of it whatsoever. And we were in Arizona, and we had to kind of go MIA for a little bit with the channel, and everybody was lovely. Everyone was lovely and supportive. But in looking back at some of Ren's interviews and stories and how he describes, just kind of the either hallucinations or the psychotic breaks or, whatever, I was like, I really understand that. Another semi. I mean, I really do. I've had a couple episodes like that now, and I'm currently being worked up by my medical team, and we're sorting out what that all looks like, and I will be open and honest and discuss that stuff with you as it seems pertinent during his videos on his chapters. So I'm going to be opening myself up in a very uncomfortable way in my reactions to these videos. So I hope everyone leaves me comments, leave me some constructive criticism on what your ideas are for if what I have said isn't the approach you'd like to see, or anything. Just leave me anything. I'm open to all ideas. I'm open to all comers. I'm open to people who are like, will you stop talking? I'm sick of hearing you. And because then I can just be like, thank you for watching my video. I appreciate it. My children and my husband are the only ones who have to hear me carry on. Everybody else can just fast forward or just scroll on by. I think I touched all the bases that I wanted to touch. I tend to repeat myself, and I'm so sorry. Just imagine being my children, who are now 27 and 29. They've had to grow up with me repeating myself 3-4 times, but that's how you learn. Chris always likes to say, you can't retain something until you've said it, repeated it 10 times over. I think I take that to the extreme. Anyway, all right, everybody. Can't wait to read your comments. Everybody have a great day. Smile and make somebody else's day a little bit brighter because they had an interaction with you. Love you guys, and stay tuned for the chapters reactions. I'm going to take them at a slow pace because, again, my brain needs a little bit of a break every now and again, so they won't come out just one after another, but they will trickle out. So, love you guys. What?